welcome you and thank you for joining us here today. I'm going to ask Mr. Neville Isdell to come join us up here on stage. If you can please do me a favor and give him a warm round of applause. Thank you for joining me.
I can't say anything until I've had one of these.
Oh, there you go. Touché.
There was a 10-minute program called The Boy from Lusaka, which I appeared on. So I was a cheeky 13-year-old. I mean, that's what that's up to.
But this led toward you getting a scholarship to go to UCT. I'm hoping you'll let us know a thing or two.
How much time you got?
So in 1972, Coke offers you a job in Johannesburg.
I'm sitting there and this guy comes up and sits next to me. And if you'll excuse the accent, he says, "Isdell." Yeah, he says, "What's all this politics, eh? You're a rugby player. What's all the..." Because I was on the SRC, I was New SAS, I was anti-apartheid, I'd marched for freeing Nelson Mandela. And at the end he said, "Boetie, we're watching you, eh?" So,
welcome to Johannesburg. If you were the lady watching, I basically bolted. I ran around the square just so that I could kind of face him head on. And I get to him and I'm like, "Mr. Isdell, Mr. Isdell, you can imagine I'm going off like this, right? I'm Mark Sham, I'm that youngster that's been trying to talk to you about coming to South Africa." And the first look on his face is kind of like, my God, this man's following me. I'm pretty sure that's what it felt like. It would look like.
No, it was very simple. I thought, oh my God, I've been trying to avoid him. Look, here's the problem.
Your time in Philippines for me was really the making of you when I read through the book.
The situation I was in was the new company had been put together was 70% a Philippine company owned by Filipinos and 30% the Coca-Cola company, but I was brought in to run the company. That was part of the deal. Launching the liter Coke, and I entered one plant on an army tank, a real army tank, lent by the military, dressed as a general. We actually formed the sales force and called it the Tiger Force. And they loved that sort of high, yeah. The theme song was the Eye of the Tiger. You can hear the thud of it,
This is the part that really started riling me up. I'm reading the book through, and it gets to your time in the Philippines, and I'll quote, "On Saturdays and Sundays, we would hold sales rallies with music, good food, San Miguel beer and theatrics. Once, King, Tony and I, dressed as Filipino generals. I would sometimes smash a Pepsi bottle against the wall of a bottling plant, revving up the troops. In one town, the local bottling manager, who was friends with the military officers there, arranged for us to ride to the rally on a tank. And this was business war, and the enemy was dressed in blue." The thing that appeals to me so much about your time in the Philippines is that you don't own the company. You don't own these things. You're running it. But never once did you own these businesses, but you always kind of took life by the scruff of the neck.
If you don't have meaning to what you're doing, and it's just a party, it's just a fun thing, don't do it, because that's false. It's got to be married to a strategy. You have to be very clear about what you're trying to do.
Yes.
Now the rest then, that's when you have fun.
Yes.
But you don't set out saying having fun is a strategy.
No.
It's not. It's an executional piece of it. I wouldn't want to work somewhere where I wasn't having fun. There are times where I didn't, but I wouldn't. And I try to create that, and I try to create that with people that I work with.
Really, you kept it in this order. Now, for me, it was a real defining and impactful moment. One, the first point was people. You defined it as be a great place to work where people are inspired to be the best they can be. Point one. Point two, you mentioned as portfolio, which is bring to the world a portfolio of quality beverage brands that anticipate and satisfy people's desires and needs. Three was partners. Nurture a winning network of customers and suppliers, creating mutual and enduring value. Four was the planet. Be a responsible citizen that makes a difference by helping build and support sustainable communities. And lastly, profit. maximize long-term return to share owners while being mindful of overall responsibilities?
Profit to me is a result, not an objective. But if you get those other ones right, it's what falls in the bucket.
Yes.
All right? And it's the other pieces that actually really matter. If it's to be, it's up to me. That was to break down the silo approach, not my problem, that's so-and-so's to fix, they screwed up, all of that sort of stuff. That was to try, because we had terrible silos. That was one of the problems, because when it gets bureaucratic and when it goes wrong, everyone gets protective, and you get that. What I'm most proud of about that manifesto, it clearly worked, but I recognize that 5 years, you don't turn a company around the size of the Coca-Cola company in 5 years. I knew that. I had to pick my successor. He now has a program called Vision 2020. Remember, this was done in 2004. It's now the 6 Ps. He's added one. When there's a change in leadership, you know, the pendulum goes from here to here. And by the way, that was Neville's stuff. I don't want any of Neville's stuff. This is the way I do it, you know. And that's, his style is different, but the core strategy is the same. And that's why actually, despite the most recent results, that's why the company has done so well over an extended period of time, because there's been coherence of strategy, and that's very, very important for coherence of strategy, not coherence of, not tactics, because tactics have to change.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I hope you have a good day, and I hope you certainly learned a whole heap. Good day.